What's up, guys? Today we're going to check out some bias lighting for your home theaters. This is the MediaLight Flex Mark II series. So shout out to the MediaLight guys for sending this stuff out for me to review. We're going to check out a few different things. First being the actual LED strips themselves. I got two different options here. I've got a 10-meter version, and then I've also got a smaller 5-meter version. The 10-meter version is going to go into my home theater, and then the smaller 5-meter version is going to go behind my television set. So the first one we're going to check out is the smaller 5-meter lighting kit. We also get the LED strip. We also get some wire management as well as some warranty information. We get a little credit card size remote control dimmer with instructions. Here's the wired IR LED controller, which will be used in conjunction with the credit card size remote control. Short little extension cable. Here's the wall adapter. And finally, inside the box, we get the inline on-off switch. Now, why should you consider a bias light? What is it and what does it do?
Bias lighting is a light source that is placed behind a display to create the ideal viewing environment. I like to say that bias lighting is basically nothing more than the right kind of light in the right place. And I think that's really the best way of putting it. But really anything that would be a constant light source behind a display is going to act as a bias light. All that a bias light basically is doing is reducing the delta between the brightest level and the darkest level of ambient light. So your eyes don't have to constantly be working to adjust to the brightness level in the room. I view bias lights the way that someone who sells speakers might view acoustic panels. It does nothing to the actual speaker itself, but it sets up the environment so that the speaker can really shine. Basically, a bias light does the same thing. It creates the ideal lighting conditions so that you can see the best out of the display, but it actually does nothing to the display.
Now, getting everything set up is pretty simple. First, you're going to take your LED strip, which will attach to your television set or your display or whatever you're going to stick it to, with 3M double stick tape on the back. So you're just going to peel off the red portion and then stick this to your TV or your projector screen or whatever you've got. If you want, you can take the little extension cable here, attach it to the LED strip itself. If you need some extra length, you're then going to go ahead, hook up your optional Wi-Fi adapter if you want to use this with the iOS or Android app. Next, you're going to take your IR sensor / LED controller, attach that to the Wi-Fi dongle. Of course, this is optional as well. You don't have to use this if you don't want to use this with the remote control. And then next thing you're going to do is take your physical on-off switch, which is this guy here, attach that next, and then you're going to put on your wall adapter. You can power this smaller 5-meter strip with USB. I believe the lengths are, with USB 2.0, you can power up to a 3-meter strip. With USB 3.0, you can power up to a 4-meter strip. Now, unlike the smaller 5-meter strip, this 10-meter strip comes with a power brick. Since it is so long, you will need more power to light up this entire strip, whereas the smaller one, you can just power it by USB. Rather than offering an LED strip with RGB so that you can have different colors, the MediaLight only comes in a single color, which is an ISF certified D65 neutral white, so it won't affect your display's calibrated color settings. By introducing, say, colors like red, blue, or green, that can negatively affect the way that your colors look on screen.
We take on the color of the light that we're in, but our displays actually get pulled in the opposite direction. So if you're looking under very warm lights, like incandescent 3000 Kelvin lights, your screen is going to look very, very blue. If you're looking under green light, your screen is going to look very magenta. It's just because we adapt to the color of the light in our environment. Our displays in our home don't adapt, nor should they, to the color temperature of the light around us. But in a lot of ways, they kind of do. Like if you buy a display at, let's say, Costco or BJ's or any store where they have it out under tungsten lights, the display, when it's in torch mode, is probably at a warmer color temperature, so it doesn't look unnatural under the incorrect lighting of the space. First of all, it's very bright. Secondly, they probably warm it up so it does not look too cool in comparison to the warmer lights in the space, because you're typically not going to find 6,500 Kelvin in a retail store. It's more of an imaging type of lighting.
Once you get the lights installed, if you're using the Wi-Fi adapter, you'll need to download the Android or iOS app. When you open the app, you're going to tap on the plus sign in the upper right corner and select Add New Devices. Go into the device's Wi-Fi settings and choose the LED lights from the drop-down list. Once it's connected, go back into the app and connect it to your local network. You'll know it's connected when the lights start flashing a couple times, then it'll turn solid. Give the lights a name and they should now show up on the home screen of the app. From here, you can turn the lights on and off by pressing the power button. By tapping on the lights, you can manually adjust the brightness by rotating the little slider. All the way to the left dims the lights down, and all the way to the right makes them brighter. Now by pressing on the DIY buttons down below, you can assign different preset levels. For me personally, I found that 9 or 10% worked the best for my display. But what do the professionals recommend?
SMPTE says 5 nits, which again is like almost as low as you can set it and barely see it. Other authorities like the Imaging Science Foundation say 10% or even up to 15% if your display is set in ISF Sport mode, which is just a higher brightness level for the display. You want to be able to see the people in the room if you're watching a sporting event with them, for example. But the jury is still out actually on what the correct level should be.
Can a bias light enhance the black levels on your display?
It enhances the perceived contrast level of the display. It does nothing to the display. The display is exactly the same as it was before, but it enhances how we perceive the contrast. And when we say contrast, I don't just mean it makes the shadows look darker. It doesn't make the black look blacker only. It also makes highlights look brighter. And that's one of the things that sometimes people lose sight of with some displays like OLED. OLED has fantastic blacks. I don't agree with the term perfect blacks because there are issues like image retention, shadow banding. There is ocular veiling glare that when we're looking at a display, or even veiling glare within a display where light can actually be transmitted within the screen itself. But a bias light enhances the overall contrast, so that actually works on both the highlights and on the darkest parts of the image.
Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the bias light work on my projector screen since I didn't have that much space between the wall and the back of the screen. Plus, it's an acoustically transparent weave, so the light just shines right through it. If my screen was solid, then it probably would have worked a lot better. Because at even 1% brightness, you can see that the light is actually still shining through the screen.
There are challenges with screens. For example, if you have an acoustically transparent screen, you want to be sure that you're placing a light in such a way that you're not seeing light coming through the actual perforations in the display. You don't want to have the bias light so bright that you're now actually causing the screen to wash out. You want to make sure that the room does not have reflective surfaces in such a way that you're now reflecting off on the screen. So there are certain considerations. Plus, if you have a screen that's taking up the entire wall, you may not have anywhere to actually put a bias light there.
At the time of this video, a 10-meter light is selling for $183 and the 5-meter is $90. They have a bunch of different lengths online as well as different accessories. Like I said earlier, I wasn't able to get the lights working properly on my projector screen, but they did work great on my television sets. And it's true, at least for me, I found that my eyes didn't have to work as hard between brightness changes while I was watching different content, especially with bright HDR material, so it's less fatiguing on your eyes for long viewing sessions. I also found them to be a must-have behind my computer monitor for when I'm editing these videos for 8 hours at a time. That's when I noticed the real benefit of using a bias light. And sure, it doesn't look as cool as having a red light or a blue light behind your screen, but if you value accuracy and the health of your vision, then adding one of these media lights should be a worthy addition to your viewing habits. Now, if you do want to pick up one of these lights or want more information, I will leave some links down below in this video's description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know how you feel about bias lighting. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.